Welcome back to Copper Star Precision, the channel dedicated to getting you more points at your competitive shooting matches. Part 3 of the Ruger Precision Rimfire build for base class NRL22, and today we're going to be installing this Timney trigger. So let's just jump right into it. All right, so we have the rifle here. The bolt is not even in the rifle. We're just gonna do a quick safety check. Feel down in here, no round in the chamber. All good to go. This rifle is safe. First thing we're going to do is remove the two action screws. These are 1/8 inch Allen. And with the rifle in the safe position on the safety selector, we should just be able to lift this straight up and out. We can set that to the side. Okay, so here we have the trigger assembly itself. Now in order to remove this, we're going to have to take this pin in this little J channel and depress the spring until it's in the upright position like that. So the next step, we will flip over this, and then there is a block here that we'll need to depress. And if we depress this at the same time as we push away from the barrel, we should be able to slide out the trigger. So here is that part that we're depressing. You can see it from where the bolt sits. And we're gonna actually have to reuse some of these parts. So let's just compare old versus new. So you can see here in this J channel, there's no pin, no spring or anything like that, and we need that part to go up here. So what we're going to do is, if you're concerned about this, we can use a pro tip. Get yourself a plastic bag. So if you do take these pieces out, they don't go flying. And we're simply going to, let me show you what I'm going to do first before we do it in the bag. We're going to remove this C-clip, and that will release the spring and this assembly here. So we're going to put this in the bag so parts don't go flying. We're going to push out the C-clip. Like so. So now this pin that is capturing the spring can be removed. We're going to put pressure on here so it doesn't go flying. We can also do this in the bag. So that is the captive pin. We're going to slowly release this part by sliding it back. So we've got that, we've got the spring, that's the old trigger, and the C-clip. So now we're going to reinstall everything. Probably the best way to do this is to put the pin back in, capture it with the C-clip, like so. Okay, with the pin back in and the C-clamp on, we're going to put in the spring, and then this block. It's just going to simply slide down and under. We can then go back to the barreled action, depress this, slide forward, and then we just want to make sure that this block here snaps into place like so. Make sure that's in there nice and tight, and then all we have to do is return this J to its position, just like so. So this pin captures the spring, which puts pressure on this, which doesn't allow this to move backward, and that's a very nice snug fit. So with the trigger reinstalled onto the barreled action, before we put it back into the chassis, we can do a function check. And let me give you a pro tip. Get yourself some of these number 4 to number 6 wall anchors. the yellow ones. These will act as kind of snap caps. So we can put one in here, and the reason we do this is because you shouldn't necessarily dry fire a rimfire rifle, because there's a chance that the rifle firing pin will hit part of the barrel and cause damage. So we put that in there to prevent that from happening. So now in order for this to work, this selector needs to be pushed back away from the barrel. This is what the safety does. It engages down here and rotates this. So now we're in the fire position. We can just do a function check. Nice light trigger pull. We can cycle the bolt, try again, and we can take out the cap. We'll also take out the bolt and return this to the safe position by pushing this towards the barrel. Now we're ready to put this, now that we've function checked outside the gun, we can put this back into the rifle. Simply drop this in. Like so. And we are going to reinstall the action screws. The long one goes in the back, and the short one goes in the front. And the torque specification for these is 35 inch-pounds. So set your torque wrench to 35 inch-pounds. And we'll just get these started. And there we have it. We can function check in the rifle. We'll put our handy dandy wall anchor back in, like so. Reinstall the bolt. We're going to put the rifle on safe. Nothing should happen, which is what is happening. We switch to fire, and we are good to go. So let's get some trigger pull weights on this guy. For an average of 1 pound, 5.8 ounces. So much less than, about a pound less than the stock trigger. Now these triggers are adjustable. I think just over a pound is probably where I want to keep that. Let's just see how it feels. Yep, that's probably about where it should be. So now that we have our basic upgrades to the rifle, including the trigger, the foregrip, the bag rider, and the ARCA rail, next thing we're going to do with this rifle is mount a scope. So we're going to be talking about scope rings. Obviously, you guys, if you've been following the channel, know that I have picked the Bushnell Match Pro, so we'll be mounting that up on here. We'll talk about how to get the scope rings that you need, how to get the scope level, and then how to zero the rifle. And we're going to take it to the range and start putting rounds through it, hopefully find a lot of ammunition that works well. If not, I've got backup plans for that. We may be putting a tuner on this rifle because it is threaded, so we can use a tuner. And yeah, so we got lots of exciting stuff. We are well on our way to making this an excellent base class competition rifle. So let's hope the accuracy is there. If not, there are some tips and tricks that we can also try to help improve accuracy. So I hope you enjoyed. Until I catch you in the next video, as always, score more points.